Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the motion picture you're about to see contains scenes so terrifying, the public must be given grave warning.
Hello and good evening, and welcome everybody to the Bloody Binge Movie Show. I am your host, Sewer Dweller, coming to you once again alone this week. Friday is on vacation. I believe she will be back next week. But we have a movie for you tonight. We're a little bit late because I had to go to the haunt, and we recorded not record a video, but film a live video, and maybe do a commercial. But guys, we are here live tonight with Cocaine Cougar. This was one of those movies that came out right around the same time Cocaine Bear did, as a way to kind of, I'm trying to think of the nicest way to put this, but it kind of, basically mooch off of the popularity of Cocaine Bear. So Cocaine Cougar came out, and I'm gonna tell you here, we'll get to the review and that later. But it is, yeah. I don't want to go too much into it until we get to the point of doing the reviews and that. But guys, it is Friday. It is Friday evening. We're a little bit late. Like I said, we're a little bit late tonight. Usually I come to you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but tonight it is 9 o'clock at night, and we're going to bring you Cocaine Cougar. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Next, just to give you a heads up right here at the beginning, next week it is WrestleMania weekend. We are going to be doing our show on Thursday night next week, because I will be working the haunt on Friday and Saturday, or at least Friday. I don't know about Saturday, but I'll be working the haunt Friday. So we're going to be doing our episode on Thursday night. And since it is WrestleMania weekend, it has become kind of a tradition. Last year, our first episode was WrestleMania weekend. And this year, this year we're going to have WrestleMania weekend as well. Last year we watched Body Slam on WrestleMania weekend for our very first episode ever. Again, if you wish to go back and listen to any of the episodes that we have recorded, the Bloody Binge Movie Show on YouTube has every single episode available to you, as well as Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those podcast locations. So next Thursday, we will be watching No Holds Barred, starring Hulk Hogan and Tiny Lister. we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about WrestleMania weekend. I'm hoping to do an episode of Hardcore Heels next week at some point to give my WrestleMania predictions, as well as hopefully get Raz and maybe even Matt on the show to give their predictions as well. But guys, it is Bloody Binge, and what would the Bloody Binge be without the weekly roundup of haunt industry and horror movie news? It is still so early in the year, so there are not many news stories for the haunt industry right now. The biggest news story, of course, coming out that they have opened. Universal Studios has opened their Epic Universe land for the media. There are plenty of videos out there showing you all the lands. There is so many awesome videos, so much awesomeness going on out there for the Frankenstein's castle, for the Frankenstein animatronic, and the ride itself. The Harry Potter ride, I haven't heard too much about. I've mostly been hearing the most I've been hearing about is the Epic Universe, as the Dark Universe area of the park. I've seen a couple of things. I think I've seen a couple of things about Nintendo, and I've seen a couple of things. I've seen a couple of things about Harry Potter, but nowhere near as much as Dark Universe. So keep that in mind. That opens, I believe, Epic Universe officially opens May 22nd, but they did just open it for the media to come in and check it out, and there's plenty of videos out there for you to see. So that is the biggest news coming out of the haunt industry, but we got a few more stories we can do. Queen Mary's Dark Harbor has announced their dates for this year. They will return select nights from September 19th through November 2nd, 2025. The event features haunts, hundreds of monsters, immersive attractions, live entertainment, VIP experiences, themed bars, carnival rides, festive foods, and more. So yeah, if you want to go see that legendary haunt, and it is a legendary haunt, check it out. It is in, I want to say it's like in Santa Monica or somewhere like that. I can't remember where it's located. I know it's located on the West Coast. Let's see, bring up the website. And of course, it's a video. I want the video. There it is. Long Beach, California. I knew it was in California. I knew it was in Southern California. Not only that, but in California as well, the Winchester Mystery House will host a halfway to Halloween flashlight tours. Step into the shadows of Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California, on April 19th and 16th and May 3rd and 10th for halfway to Halloween flashlight tours. Explore the mansion at your own pace with only a flashlight to guide you through its twisting corridors and rooms. The experience will include access to areas that are off limits on the standard mansion tour. The grounds outside the mansion will be covered in ghostly decor with hauntingly beautiful photo ops and themed cocktails and treats inspired by the Halloween season. Tickets are on sale now, starting at $49.99 for adults, $29.99 for kids, ages 5 through 12. That does sound like a really fun time, in all honesty. I'm my luck. I'll get lost, and you'll never have to. You guys will never have to listen to the Bloody Binge again. I'll get lost in the Winchester Mystery House, and a ghost will take me out. But so there's that one. Moving on. You know what? Let's do this real quick though. Speaking of haunted houses, did you know that if you live in the Dayton, Ohio area, that Hell's Dungeon will be open next weekend, April 18th and 19th, from 8 till midnight. Come meet Buds Bunny and Reefer Rabbits. Check this out. it looks to be a good time next weekend. We do look forward to seeing you. We actually did, like I said, we did a live video for a local influencer this afternoon, and we had a good time. I think it worked well. We sold a few tickets from it, and it's been shared quite often. So go check out the Hell's Dungeon Facebook page, and you'll see the live video. It's a cool fun watch. But moving on to our next story in haunt industry news. The Mystic Museum in Burbank, California will bid farewell to their Horror High reunion exhibit with a night of thrills, chills, and killer fun at the Horror High Prom. Taking place Friday, May 10th, the dance will feature a live band and DJ. Photo ops, professional prom photos, bar and refreshments, and a night market with eerie and exclusive horror goods. Tickets are on sale now, starting at $35 for school spirit general admission, $45 for junior varsity admission, includes a prom photo and early access, and $125 for VIP bundles. All tickets will automatically enter guests into a raffle-style drawing to be selected for the Horror High Prom Court. The dance also serves as a fundraiser to bring the next Mystic Museum exhibit to life, which is set to debut on May 31st. So there's so much. Like I said, there's a lot going on. The Reign of Terror in Thousand Oaks, California will also return for 2 nights on May 2nd and 3rd to celebrate halfway to Halloween. Brave the Haunt's 11 interconnected attractions with 142 rooms of pure terror and fright. Not only that, on the other side of the country, the Double M Haunted Hayride and Haunted House in Ballston Spa, New York, will host its second annual halfway to Halloween event on May 16th and 17th. It's a little past halfway to Halloween. But the event will open with an outdoor screening of Friday the 13th Part 2, complete with roaming monsters to add to the scares and thrills. Next, guests will brave 2 haunted houses that continue the slasher theme, including a visit to Camp Crystal Lake itself. Tickets are on sale now for $30 each. So that sounds awesome as well. I would love to go see an outdoor screening of Friday the 13th Part 2. There is some sad news though in the haunted attraction world, because I never know how to say this. I think it's Zagoni Studios Masks and Costumes in Melrose Park, Illinois, will be closing in the near future. For over 50 years, the company has delivered comfortable, lightweight, and breathable masks, costumes, and accessories to members of the haunt industry. In an email, Tony Zagoni informed the Haunted Attraction Network that they have ceased manufacturing and taking custom orders, and they will be selling off their existing inventory at a discount. Disclosure is due to unforeseen circumstances that comes in the wake of a difficult year after the passing of the company's co-founder Philip Anthony Zagoni last June. So that's sad, because they do have some really awesome masks. I've worn a couple of their masks before, and I don't wear masks very often when I do haunts and that. I don't like to wear masks. I like to. I know I have Coney. Coney wears a mask, but I only wear Coney if I don't want to talk or if I can't talk. Like last season, the last weekend of the season last year, I was Coney because I caught a cold on Wednesday, and by the time Friday rolled around, I had no voice whatsoever. So I had to be Coney that weekend because Coney doesn't talk. Coney does not talk. But that's going to do it for the haunted attraction news this week, the haunt industry news. Again, there's not really that much. I mean, I could go through and read off some a list of haunts that are open. I really didn't get too many when I made a post earlier because I don't know how many are actually open. Let me get to the chainers and I'll read a bunch that they shared over there on their webpage, maybe. Here we go. Secrets. Yeah, don't forget next week. If you watch the show on Wednesday, I joined Pyle on the Chainer's Haunted Secrets, and we talked to and I can't remember her name, but we talked about the Midwest Haunt Swap buy, sell, and trade that is coming to Richmond, Indiana next weekend. Next Saturday. I think this is the right one, or this is the right. There's the right one. Next Saturday, April 19th, Richmond, Indiana, put on by the Forsaken Haunted Fear Fest. It sounds like a great time. There's going to be a bunch of vendors out there. So if you're a home haunter, this is actually a really good way to network with professional haunters, see what kind of ideas they have to sell. We'll see what they have to sell, see what you can buy to use at your home haunt. And mingle around with people in the industry. It's always fun to do that. It's always, especially if you plan to be a part of the industry for a long time, whether that it be as a professional haunter or a home haunter. It's always great to network. So moving on to horror movie news, there's a few stories we can talk about. First being, Linnea Quigley is bringing Trash's Revenge, Return of the Living Dead universe. And she is actually, I believe she wrote and produced this, but it is set to begin filming in Los Angeles on April 30th, 2025. It is not a fan film. It's a film for the fans. Trash's Revenge is an official Return of the Living Dead production from Dragon Studios, the copyright owners. Return of the Living Dead original Beverly Randolph will take the producer's seat on April 30th as Miguel Nunez and John Philbin return to their on-screen roles. We got a little bit of a bone. Me and the wife have a little bit of a bone to pick with Miguel Nunez because a couple years ago at Scarefest down in Louisville, this dude, we bring when we go to the conventions, we bring our ferrets with us. We're known as the ferret people because everybody loves to pet the ferrets and see the ferrets and everything. So we bring him to Scarefest in Louisville, and this dude literally takes one of our ferrets and walks away for about 20 minutes. And I'm looking at the wife going, is he bringing Brownie back? He finally brought it back, and then he offers to buy it from us and said last time and we of course told him no because we love our ferrets. But he said the last time he asked to buy something, it was a monkey. He bought a monkey from a guy. And I'm just looking like, dude, that's not okay. That's no. I like mine. But he's a cool guy though. But I digress. As the saga continues, decades after the horrific events of the 1985 cult classic, Trash, the notorious punk rocker played by Linnea Quigley, finds herself trapped in a past where fame has faded. Once a rebellious icon, Trash now embraces the persona of a grotesque Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard, attending conventions to sign autographs while her co-stars rise to greater heights. Trash's Revenge currently has a live crowdfunding campaign on Cinebacker at https Cinebacker or //Cinebacker cinebacker.com/product/trashes trashes-revenge-rotld-universe/ Cinebacker is an online crowdfunding forum designed to connect filmmakers with supporters helping bring cinematic projects to life. So there you go. If you're interested in participating or funding Trash's Revenge, and being part of the Return of the Living Dead universe, go ahead to that website and donate some money. They will be very appreciative. But moving on to our next story. I mean, it could be fun. I love the Return of the Living Dead series, so I mean, it could definitely be fun. But moving on, Chuck Russell's Witchboard remake is releasing in August. So they've done an update. Uh-oh. Go away, you. Oh, never mind. My computer just went on that website. So we'll move to another story maybe. Let me see if I can get back over there. Where is it? If you're watching, anybody in the chat, what do you think of this new Sinister movie? What is it? Is it Sinisters or Sinners? I'm sorry, Sinners movie with Michael B. Jordan. I think it looks great. Where is this story? Right, I am not seeing this story anywhere anymore. I had to close out because my for some reason the website crashed on me. But yeah, they're doing a for whatever reason they're remaking Witchboard of all movies. So yeah, keep that in mind. Trying to find my stories again now. All right, we'll do this. Make sure this is not just a video and this is the actual thing. So as I've been saying for a few weeks now, there's not been much horror movie news out there. Because it's been a lot of trailers and I can't show trailers on the show due to copyright issues. There's a lot of lists and things like that. So I'm going to actually read one of these lists. Because again, there's really not much out there that people wouldn't know about already or that would interest me in all honesty. But we are going to read a list. This list comes from The Independent, and it is called the 26 scariest films that aren't horror movies ranked. So I got interested in this. I want to see what you guys think and see if any of these movies are actually scary, like this article is saying it is. But coming in at number 26 is The Arrival of a Train at La Ciotat Station from 1896. It is a 50-second silent movie about a train pulling into a station. A rumor has followed this film since its first ever showing by the Lumiere brothers in Paris in 1896. Due to moving pictures still being a very new medium, reports claim that audiences literally screamed because they believed they were about to be hit by the train. The claims have been scrutinized by historians over time, but that didn't stop Martin Scorsese from recreating the moment in his 2011 homage to early cinema, Hugo, a movie I have seen. So, yeah, an 1896 movie of a train heading towards the camera. Number 25, we have The King of Comedy, 1982. Before Joaquin Phoenix wore the face paint for Joker and before Jake Gyllenhaal's unhinged performance in Nightcrawler, there was Robert De Niro as Rupert Pupkin. Martin Scorsese's creepy dive into the world of celebrity obsession sees De Niro dig into a type of derangement that many have tried to replicate, but few have surpassed. Amplified by an equally disturbing turn by Sandra Bernhard, King of Comedy's scariest achievement is perhaps making viewers sympathize with a pair of kidnapping psychopaths. Now, guys, I am reading the article as it's written. This is not my opinions or anything, but this is Because I ain't gonna lie, I've not seen King of Comedy. Number 24, The Wizard of Oz. I can see how that's actually scary. Yeah, I can definitely see how that's scary. Okay, Judy Garland taking us singing and dancing down the yellow brick road to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz shouldn't be scary, but its fantasy elements tip the classic musical over into something akin to a Technicolor fever dream, typified by Margaret Hamilton's devilish performance as the Wicked Witch of the West and a multitude of bizarre characters. Yeah, I can see it. Number 23 comes in with The White Ribbon from 2009. So I guess the movie's about, I've not seen this. It's about fascism, the rise of fascism. They say it's going to be scary, but making the story about the literal origins of evil within children creates something far more unnerving. Yeah, I can see that. 12 Monkeys. Yeah, 12 Monkeys. That was a creepy movie. But much like many directors on this list, Terry Gilliam has used horror elements throughout his films without ever making a movie that fits into the genre. 12 Monkeys, a sci-fi film inspired by the 1962 short film La Fête, about a virus that wipes out much of humanity, is a troubling enough concept in itself. However, the film's nihilistic ending upon witnessing your own death and being powerless to stop it is even more deeply upsetting. Oh, sorry, I had to wet the whistle. Pan's Labyrinth from 2006. Guillermo del Toro's 2006 masterpiece, which won 3 Oscars, is the director at his best, endeavoring to find the humanity within the worlds of fantasy or horror, set during Franco's fascist reign in Spain. Pan's Labyrinth features some of the Mexican visionary's scariest creations, such as the Pale Man, a saggy-skinned, child-eating monster whose eyes are on his hands. That is epically creepy, in all honesty. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I can see that. Nurse Ratched. Yeah. Nurse Ratched's kind of terrifying. Man Bites Dog, a movie I have not seen, but apparently it is the Belgian black comedy disguised as a documentary. Sees a film crew followed the depraved crimes of a charismatic serial killer played by Benoit. Oh wow, I can't say that name. Poelvoorde. I have no idea. Number 18, coming in number 18 is Night of the Hunter from 1955. Number 17, Deliverance from 1972. Yeah, that's kind of movie is kind of terrifying. Number 16 is Grizzly Man. Werner Herzog's Grizzly Man isn't the bears, but Timothy Treble, who was killed and eaten by a bear in 2003 and had the unfortunate honor of capturing his own death on tape. Wow, that's kind of, yeah. The Zone of Interest from 2023. Number 14, Perfect Blue, 1997. Look, if you like 2010's Black Swan, then allow us to introduce you to the original, although Black Swan director Darren Aronofsky denies being influenced by the film. The movie by the late great animator Satoshi Kon follows Mimi Kirijo, a member of a J-pop idol group who begins to lose her grip on reality after being stalked and seeing visions of a doppelganger. Wow. That is kind of creepy. Zodiac from 2007. Yeah, it's a movie about a serial killer. Not only that, it's a movie about a serial killer whose case was never solved. Coming in at number 12, The Act of Killing, 2012. Don't know much about that movie. Number 11, and I would have definitely put this on the list. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971. Roald Dahl here, proving that even a trip to a chocolate factory had to feature an undercurrent of murder and meanness. You never see those kids again. Like, you don't see the kids for the rest of the movie, and you never learn what happened to them. Not only that, the trip down the river in the boat was terrifying as a kid. So yeah. Coming in at number 10, Requiem for a Dream. That it is. That it is creepy. Number 9, Watership Down, 1978. Yeah, many childhoods will have been ruined by parents innocently thinking Watership Down was a nice animated film about bunnies and not realizing it was actually a horrifying tale of the hardships of nature, based on Richard Adams' 1972 novel of the same name. The film plunges you down into a literal rabbit hole of distressing imagery and brutal violence. Although the film now holds a PG rating in the UK, having been upgraded from a U, it's baffling to think that this was ever made for Soul. Yeah, it was. That's terrifying. That movie's creepy as shit for a kid. Coming in at number 8, Jurassic Park. Yeah, I can see that. Number 7, I don't see this one though. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I mean, I don't see that one, but I haven't really watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang too many times to sit here and go, yeah, that was creepy. Number 6, Mulholland Drive from 2001. Yeah, I could see that one. Definitely see that one. Number 5, Return to Oz from 1985. Yeah, it's a little creepier. It's got you got different characters than Wizard of Oz, but it is a little creepier. It is. Number 4, Come and See in 1985. Set in Belarus during the Nazi occupation of the country in the Second World War, Come and See has rightfully earned a reputation as one of the scariest war films ever. Number 3, and I'm sorry, this is a horror movie. I don't care how many people say it's not a horror movie. Jaws is a horror movie. Jaws comes in at number 3. How you say that's not a horror movie, I don't know. Number 2, again, I agree with this. The Witches from 1990. And I know a lot of people have seen this movie. Angelica Houston. It's the one where they turn the kids into mice. It was always on HBO. They turn the kids into mice and they have to stop the witches because they're going to eat all the children. Yeah. And finally, coming in at number 1, a movie called Threads from 1984. I have not seen this. It's a docudrama in a horrifically realistic depiction of a nuclear winter. Maybe then, yeah, that's what it's about. But that's going to round out that list. Again, I'm wondering. So let's see what else we can do. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be it for the horror movie news because I can't play trailers. I don't want to keep reading lists, and that's really what a lot of these articles are anymore. So we're going to move on to some paranormal news. Or some paranormal and stupid news because there's a lot of dumb stuff that's going on out there. We will start in Iraq because authorities in Iraq arrested a whopping 48 people accused of illegally practicing witchcraft. This story does come from Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. The suspected sorcerers were reportedly taken into custody as part of a sweeping crackdown on the proverbial dark arts on the part of the country's Ministry of the Interior. In detailing the arrests earlier this week, the agency indicated that the 2-week-long operation was conducted in coordination with Iraq's Supreme Judicial Council, which sought to put an end to these dangerous phenomena that pose a direct threat to social peace, ethical values, and the rule of law, end quote. The 48 men and women who were arrested by federal agents in Baghdad and surrounding areas stand accused of practicing sorcery while claiming to offer spiritual healing or solutions to family problems. Should those swept up in the literal witch hunt be convicted of exploiting people's beliefs in magic for financial gain, they could face a possible 5-year prison sentence under Iraqi law. The arrests are in keeping with similar efforts to squash sorcery in the Middle East, Central Asia, as both Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan have taken aim at the practice in the past year. So apparently Iraq is having a problem with sorcerers and with witchcraft, essentially. Yeah. Okay, I haven't read this story. I brought this story, but I haven't read this one. We're going to move on to some stupid news now with this one because foster mom is charged with abuse as authorities investigate whether a girl was traded for a monkey. A Missouri foster mother has been charged with child abuse and endangerment as authorities investigate whether she traded an adopted daughter to someone in Texas for a monkey and mistreated other children in her care. The 70-year-old woman from Winfield has been jailed on $250,000 bond since her arrest over the weekend, with her next court appearance set for next Tuesday. The Associated Press is not identifying her in an effort to not identify her child. No attorney is listed for the woman in an online court records. The 1,500-person town, Winfield, is about 45 miles northwest of downtown St. Louis. Lincoln County prosecutor Mike Wood said Wednesday that the woman had been a foster or adoptive parent to around 200 children over a span of well over a decade. His office wrote in seeking a cash-only bond that authorities had received information that some of these children suffered physical and emotional abuse similar to the teen at the center of the case. That girl told authorities she was beaten with wooden trim, shoes, and a paddle, and a detective with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office wrote in the probable cause statement, the girl said she tried to tell people what was happening, but that no one believed her. In February, a deputy who was working as a school resource officer in Missouri was contacted about the girl missing classes, the probable cause statement said. While investigating, the deputy was told a rumor that the girl was traded for an exotic animal to someone in Texas. The deputy asked authorities in Texas to check on the girl. Child welfare officials in Texas took her into protective custody, and Wood said she is doing well in a group home there. Wood said the suspect and the woman whom the girl was staying with in Texas knew each other because both own exotic animals. He said 2 witnesses came forward and said they were asked to take the girl to Texas and return with a monkey. He said investigators are trying to firm up if that was just a joke or if it was actually a trade. There's some smoke there, Wood said. We just got to find out if there's fire, and it'll take us some time. But there's at least 2 witnesses who are coming forward saying that was the case. As crazy as it sounds, we found a few human trafficking cases in the past, so we're treating it seriously. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, this girl's adoptive mom or foster mom essentially traded this girl to a person in Texas for a goddamn monkey. Imagine being that you look, somebody looking at you, a human looking you dead in the eye, going, "Yeah, we're taking you to Texas." Well, I don't want to go to Texas. Well, you have to go to Texas because we're trading you for a monkey. Not a car. So yeah. So now we're going to move on to a story. Again, we're still doing stupid news at this point. We're going to move on to a story that we talked about on Wednesday on Chainers. In case you didn't listen, you didn't watch that show. But a Kentucky restaurant intentionally filled with clean water to keep the flood at bay. Basically, they filled their restaurant with water to keep the Ohio River out. The owners of a Kentucky restaurant in the path of the Ohio River, floods shared their unusual strategy for keeping the dirty water out, intentionally flooding the building with clean water. Andrew Masterson, a co-owner of Captain's Quarters Riverside Grill in Prospect, posted a live video to Facebook showing how he and his team are keeping the silty floodwater out of the building. Masterson and the restaurant's employees use sinks, faucets, and well water pump to fill the restaurant with about 6 feet of clean, fresh water to keep the filthy flood at bay. We disconnected kitchen equipment and electrical panels beforehand, Masterson explained in the video. Masterson said if the strategy continues to be successful, it could save the restaurant from expensive and time-consuming cleanup work. He said he remains concerned that the floodwaters could enter the restaurant through windows, doors, or ductwork if the water levels outside reach higher than 6 feet. So 2 problems with this. One, as we said on Wednesday, what if you need to file an insurance claim? Now you can't. They're not going to pay you. They won't pay you if you have a video up there showing you intentionally flooding your restaurant. And second of all, I'm still trying to figure out how that works. How is the clean water going to keep out the dirty water that is coming in by the droves? Because it was pretty bad here. It rained. We had 2 really bad major rainstorms with some tornadoes and all that good stuff. And it's been raining for almost a week here. It finally, a couple days ago, the sun finally came out. So, yeah. I just don't understand what that guy was thinking of or getting at or anything like that. But we're going to move on to our last story. This comes from the Mirror. And the headline reads, I surprised my boyfriend with a threesome, but it ended in tears when he removed the blindfold. Camilla L., 21, wanted to organize a kinky surprise for her man, but after he was blindfolded and handcuffed to the bed, an unexpected guest made the most of the situation. So this comes from the Mirror. So Camilla L. wanted to spice things up with her partner, Alan. So she decided to bring a third person into the bedroom for a saucy surprise. However, after tracking a willing participant down on Tinder, she began to feel like something was off during their steamy session. Until the shocking revelation when her man took off the blindfold. Does anybody want to hazard a guess what was going on? What the surprise was? Anybody at all? Because I promise you, it's not going to be what your first. My first thought was that it was that the third person had a penis. It is not. That is not the case. But the devastated woman from Miami was left in a flood of tears when she found out that the seemingly random woman was actually her boyfriend's ex. And things got even worse when the ex started messaging Alan the next day. I was too in shock to do anything. I felt disgusted and humiliated, said Camilla. I couldn't believe that she'd managed to manipulate us like that. The couple has been dating for a year, and after discussing the idea of a threesome, Camilla set about turning it into reality. I wanted to be the cool girlfriend, so I decided I was just going to surprise him, she said. The model, who shares saucy snaps on Instagram with her 55,000 followers, made a profile on Tinder explaining the situation and what kind of girl they were looking for. Camilla said, I included photos of both of us on there, and after about a week, I matched with a girl called Sammy, who said she was interested. We started chatting, and I was surprised by how forward she was. She told me that she wanted to have fun as soon as possible. There was something a little off with her in the way she messaged me on Tinder. She was so over familiar. The 21-year-old initially had her reservations, but after speaking to Sammy on the phone, pushed any doubts to the back of her head. She said, we planned to meet the following night at my home, so I gave Sammy the address and told her what time to arrive. I wanted it to be a surprise, so I told my boyfriend to lie down on the bed, and I blindfolded him and handcuffed him to the bed. When Sammy arrived, I let her know my boundaries, one of which was that she wasn't allowed to make out with my boyfriend, and we made our way to the bedroom. Sammy took off her clothes and had on the most extravagant set of lingerie I have ever seen and looked so excited. That pissed me off because I could tell she was trying super hard, and I just got a really bad feeling from that. Camilla says that while the three were getting down to it, Sammy completely ignored her and put all of the attention on her boyfriend. She said it's like an unspoken rule to never ignore one person in a threesome, and she completely ignored me the entire time. Also, one of my rules was that she wouldn't kiss my boyfriend, and of course she made out with him multiple times. After the trio had finished, Camilla's boyfriend asked to have the blindfold removed, and as she did, Sammy ran into the bathroom. She said, when she came back, my boyfriend looked like he'd seen a ghost, and she started laughing. He looked at me and said, why the fuck did you bring my ex-girlfriend? I looked from him to her, and my brain could literally not process what was happening. Before I could really think, Sammy grabbed her clothes and ran out the door. Camilla couldn't stop crying and was stunned the next day when Sammy had the audacity to try and text Alan. She said, I was so mad there was nothing I could do because I was the one who set it up and it had been all my idea. I've never been one for asking my boyfriend about his exes, so I'd never seen a photo of her or even knew her name. My boyfriend was distraught that he'd upset me and so angry with her, but in the end, it made us closer. We even laugh about it now. However, next time if we ever decide to do another threesome, I'm definitely going to run the third person by my boyfriend just in case. So what would you guys do if you have a threesome with your girlfriend? Is you, your girlfriend, and another female, or if you're a female, your boyfriend and another guy or something? You open your eyes and there is your ex. You realize you were just having sex with your ex. How pissed off would you be? Well, guys, that's going to do it for our news section of the night. Once again, we are watching Cocaine Cougar tonight. This might be a very short episode. You'll see why. Next week, as I said, just a friendly reminder, next week, we are watching No Holds Barred for WrestleMania weekend, and we will be coming to you live Thursday night, not Friday, but Thursday night at 9:00, because I will be working the haunt that weekend, and of course WrestleMania weekend. So join us, tune in Thursday night, 9:05 for No Holds Barred. We have a bunch more movies coming up in the next few weeks. We'll be talking about that here in the second part. We'll talk about Cocaine Cougar and a few other things. But guys, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and we'll be back with Cocaine Cougar. Stick around.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
And we are back. Welcome, everybody, back to the Bloody Binge Movie Show. I am your host, Sewer Dweller, and this week, we are watching Cocaine Cougar. The movie came out in 2023, was written and directed by Dustin Ferguson, who has brought us such great movies. Hold on, let me get down here. Who has brought us such great movies? Let's see how many of these I've actually seen. Mondo Shock 4, America Blood and Guts, Artificial Termination, Life Form, Terror at Black Tree Forest, The Legacy of Boggy Creek, Slumber Party Slasherthon, Die Sister Die, Doll Killer, Occult Holocaust, Sleepaway Camp 2, What Happened to Molly, that was a video, Demon Dolls, Meat Hook Massacre, Faces of Dying. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that was like an offshoot of Faces of Fear. Amityville Toy Box, Camp Bloods 4 and 5, The Dummy 2, Grindsploitation 2, The 12 Slays of Christmas, Mondo Shock, Wrong Side of the Tracks, Amityville Clown House, Ebola Rex versus the Murder Hornets, and of course, Cocaine Cougar. He's got a ton. Like, there's just a shit ton on here for Dustin Ferguson as a writer and a director. You're talking 150 credits so far and 12 more coming out. So he's been around. He's been in here for a while. The movie, I don't even think it stars anyone, but the movie stars Donna Lee Heising. She has been in over 255 feature films and has won over 850 film festival awards. Yeah, she... Hold on, let's get down here. Let's get down to the beginning. Her first appearance was in Blade Runner from 1982 as a showgirl. St. Elsewhere in episode Fantasy Island, Big Trouble, Little China, uncredited, General Hospital. Trying to get up here. Play-by-play, The Alien's Wife. Trying to see if there's anything on here I recognize. All About Lizzie. Let's see. Going up. Special Agent Kids. She was in a Fall Out Boy video. After School Massacre. 2 Fall Out Boy videos. Make that. Lavalantula. Ballet of Blood. Samurai Cop 2. Deadly Vengeance. Paranormal Activity Security Squad. Beach Massacre at Kettle Double Hills. Like, she's been in a bunch. It also stars Rocky DeMarco as Dominique. Again, 32 movies, so I mean, they've been around. Curse of the Komodo, Cheerleader Massacre, Lusty Busty Babacue, Vampire in Vegas, Lost in the Woods, Camel Spiders, Bigfoot or Bust, Liza, Warden from Hell, Murderbot, Cocaine Cougar, and she is going to be in the upcoming Bigfoot Burgers. We have Giolami Rivalde. I'm probably butchering that name. I apologize. Who's playing Shredder? He's got a bunch. Some serious, some as a character actor in some horror movies. He was on 3 episodes of Doctor Who as an airport traveler, a Siberia warrior, and a Georgian gentleman. The priest, Freakish 2, Demon Predator, Closet Monster, The Famous 5, Bad CGI Monsters, and an episode of Case Files. And I just closed out for some reason. Bring it back up. I mean, really, there's nobody else I recognize in this movie. It's Eric Anthony Russo's been in 62 Things, House on Haunted Hill, I guess the remake, it looks like. Apex Predators 2, 1031 Part 4, Bad CGI Monsters, Space Sharks, Hustlers, Gamblers, and Crooks, Spider Baby or the Maddest Toy Ever Sold, Demonoids from Hell, Bang Bang Betty, Valerie's Revenge, and a host of others. Then we're just going to stop there because they're again, I don't want to ruin the movie, but these folks are not in the movie very long. Let's put it that way. So that's your cast right there for the most part. I'll read some more names off. How about that? Tyrone Tan as Slater, Jonathan Nation as Ramses, Roxana Garza as Mandy, Sophia Koikis as Mrs. Lynch, Gloria Goldman as Gloria, Noah Madrigal as Eric, Joshua Mooney as Francis, Kurt Boyd as Jeff, Knife Sotelo as Knifer, and Dustin Ferguson himself playing Dark. We'll talk about there is anything else to talk about after the movie. We'll talk about that afterwards, but let's go ahead and jump into Cocaine Cougar. Now, this movie has a 50-minute runtime on Tubi. You can watch it on Tubi. I don't know anywhere else you can watch it. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other places you can watch it. But Tubi is free, and that is where I watched it. So the movie opens up based on true events. And the movie just opens up with a red filter in a forest or a jungle with the animal sounds going off. And it just keeps showing different points of red filtered forest, like different shots of it. For right around 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes, it does this, and you just hear the aggressive shrieking of a cougar or a large cat, really. Then it cuts to some CCTV footage of like a lab with cages and everything as it runs the credits, the opening credits. Now, guys, between that opening shot and the credits, we are 6 minutes into this movie already. Of a movie that has a 50-minute timeline or runtime. We are 6 minutes in now, and the movie is just starting with 12 hours earlier. From there, we go to a breaking news story that a black cougar, it's the only story, a black cougar has escaped a lab, the Los Angeles County lab, and it's still on the loose. Be careful out there, people. And that's all the news. We then cut to this couple who are going to take a hike into the woods. It is Mandy and I believe Eric are the two. I think that's who it is. I'm pretty sure it's Mandy. I know the girl's Mandy. I think the guy is Eric. Mandy is now they're going to hike up a mountain. Mandy is wearing a black dress, high heels, a leopard skin fur coat, and the gaudiest jewelry you've ever seen in your life. So, Mandy, they're filming a YouTube video, I guess, or so, a video to put on social media. And apparently she is getting ready to enjoy her first meal as a breatharian. Now, according to the movie, a breatharian eats air. I just want that to sink in with you guys. This bitch is climbing a mountain to eat air. I digress. So they're basically doing the welcome video, the opening of the video. He asked her to explain what she's wearing. She really can't. And they decide that it's time to start walking up the mountain. So they get to the road that's going to lead them up the mountain, and it's blocked. Now, anybody can climb over this thing. She cannot. She has to walk around it. And her first comment afterwards, as they start walking up the mountain, is that this mountain wasn't designed for heels. No. No mountain is designed for heels. You're supposed to wear shoes, sneakers, tennis shoes, boots, anything but heels. So it cuts back to them. It cuts away and it cuts back, and I guess they're supposed to already be halfway up the mountain. She's thanking people for watching, and she's saying she's happy that they're joining her on this new spiritual journey. He asks how many followers they have, and she says 150,000, and that she's doing this challenge just for them because this is her first day as a breatharian. And she's come up to the mountains to have her first meal that is really like an air salad. And even the guy who's supposed to be doing this with her turns back and just looks and goes, "Are you fucking serious? An air salad? The fuck is wrong with you?" So they start walking again. You know, she says she wants her first meal to be delicious. That it's like an air salad, and that it tastes like lettuce. And she starts walking. Finally, they sit down on a branch, and she's going to have her first breatharian meal. And the way she's going to do it is she's going to do a meditation called Hung Sao, where she breathes. I guess she's going to think to herself when she breathes in. Apparently, it's good for her heart chakra, by the way. But when she breathes in, I guess she's going to say Hung. And then when she breathes out, Sao. Or so. Whatever it is, it gets interrupted because there's basically a huge growl as she's breathing in. And she stops and screams, "What the fuck was that?" Now, the growl is very obviously added in afterwards, and this chick is not the best actress because she's a beat late to go, "What the hell was that?" And she's trying to act scared. They look around for a second and see nothing. They turn the camera off, turn it back on, and the first thing is them on the camera again, and Eric says that they are 13 minutes away from being a breatharian, starting their whole spiritual life, making room for all the beautiful things in the world. As they're doing this, they once again hear the growl, and they both freak out this time. He decides he's going to go check it out, and she tried to say that it was a squirrel. I have never heard a squirrel make a sound. Although I take it back, last week I swear to God I heard a squirrel laughing at a cat last week. But he goes running off, and she's yelling, "I mean, it's just a freaking squirrel. You're so dramatic." "But it's okay. Thank you. You're my hero." Again, being just the worst kind of human being. So he goes running off. The camera goes back to her because we're not going to show him running off, actually into the woods. And apparently it's been 5 minutes and Eric hasn't come back. 5 minutes, guys. And she's freaking out because her husband or her boyfriend hasn't come back from checking on the sound. 5 minutes. She says she feels like this is a bad idea, that she thought she could be a vegetarian, but then she changes it back to breatharian. But she feels like a big fraud, and that she's never been to the mountains, and she doesn't know. There's all these noises, and she doesn't know what to do, and I don't know. She says, "I don't know," a bunch of times. There's something coming. You hear the cat noise, Mandy screams and drops the camera. We immediately cut to a desk. And this is supposed to be Ramsey's. I guess he's the caretaker of the Cougar? But it's like he's watching her video and saying, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I told him and he didn't listen. And that he's got to stop this. He picks up the phone. We don't see who he's calling. But now it is 10 a.m. We get basically a helicopter shot of some homes in Southern California with the mountains behind them. Then we get the red filter again. That's supposed to be the panther or the cougar, and they're running around for a couple of minutes. It runs around for a couple of minutes before we cut to who is this guy? I'm trying to get names for you guys. Is this Jimmy? I think this might be Jimmy. He's a drug dealer, though. And he's talking to somebody on the line. And apparently that person is in a hurry because Jimmy tells me he's going to be there in 15 minutes if he cuts through the woods. And it gets close to what's supposed to be cocaine, but it's clearly powdered sugar. Jimmy says he won't mess this up. You know, he'll be there soon. Blah, blah, blah. The person on the other end of the phone hangs up on him. We cut to Shredder now. And he says, basically, he says this guy better not fuck up this time. You hear a baby crying, and this guy just fucking loses it and screams, "Hey, shut the damn door, bitch. I need some damn privacy here." Cut back to Jimmy, and he's, packing all the cocaine into his bag, saying he can't upset the boss. And that he's freaking out. Cut to Shredder. He screams, "Time for blast off," and does a line of cocaine. We cut back to the office, and Ramses is on the phone trying to say they need to take it down before it makes it. Basically saying that it's hopped up on cocaine and it'll lose its buzz before it gets to downtown, unless it comes across a shit ton of coke. So apparently the person on the other end of the line actually is thinks it's some kind of different type of cougar. And the Ramses is trying to explain to him, no, it's an actual cougar, a cat. There's a knock on his door, and there is a very plasticky looking woman. I don't want to be mean, but it's the nicest thing I can say. She looks full of plastic. So she... Oh no, something happened here. I want to make sure. Yep, we're still working. Okay. So she comes in and basically she's going to... her and Ramsey start making out. We cut back to Jimmy as he's walking with the backpack on towards Shredder's house to sell him the cocaine. He's walking down a path, and I guess it's supposed to be the woods, but there's literally 6 trees. None of them have leaves on them, and they're all about 5 to 6 feet tall. So, yeah. We then cut to the red tint on the screen again as the cougar is running through some woods. We cut to Jimmy who's walking down an area. Basically keeps cutting back between the red filter and Jimmy. Until finally The Cougar catches up to Jimmy and rips his throat out, essentially. Knocks him down and rips his throat out. And this is the first time we get to see the Cougar, and it is completely CGI. And I'm talking some of the shittiest CGI known to man. Like, this is just sad. But Jimmy's dead. The Cougar goes to the bag, which is for some reason unzipped, puts his head in there, takes a giant sniff, and starts shaking his head. The cocaine has found the Cougar. Or the Cougar has found the cocaine. Cut back to Shredder, who is currently out of cocaine, and he's pissed at Jimmy because he let him go dry. Then the news story pops up announcing the death of the two influencers from the beginning of the movie and local drug dealer. Gus, I'm sorry, it isn't Jimmy. His name is Gus. Local, so it's Jarrell Diaz playing this part. He is the local drug dealer. But the two guys from earlier report that Gus is dead, and there is cocaine residue. Cocaine residue was found at the scene. Shredder just looks upset that he's not going to get his high. It is now 2 p.m. and we cut to an older gentleman, clearly gay, going through Tinder or one of the other apps, being very picky. Too fat, too old, too ugly, water sports. The phone dings and he says, "Oh, his name is Francis, by the way. Oh, I knew I'd see you here." And he gets excited as he makes a date. We cut back to Ramsey's office where he tells the woman, was Andrea, to go do something for him. And she says, "Yes, Daddy. I mean, boss. Lady, you might be older than him." And she gets up and walks away, and he just looks at the camera and goes, "Ooh, talk about a cougar." Cut to Francis, and he's saying he can't wait, that Daddy's going to get some sugar tonight. He kind of like pans to his face, and then we cut to an amusement park on a roller coaster. Guys, this montage of B-roll for a roller coaster is going to last for the next 4 minutes. Later, we find out that we're supposed to be paying attention to this couple. They're on a date. We don't hear anything about the date or anything. But it is literally 3 minutes or 4 or 5 minutes long of other people having fun. Then, instead of finishing up the date or anything, we cut to the red tent again as the cougar is running down, the forest. Not at somebody, but just walking down the forest. We then see Francis walking along the path. Again, I don't know if it's supposed to be the forest or not, but there's no trees. And it's literally just him walking. Francis hears the growl, and he just looks around and goes, "Oh my God, what was that?" We cut back and forth between the red tent and Francis. or is this Francis, or is this? I don't even know. They're not good with names on this thing. Jeff, that is Jeff. Francis is the person coming to meet him. But Jeff is essentially murdered by the Cougar. We don't get to see it, but we cut to Francis, who's walking along the path as well, and he hears the thing. He hears basically the cat asking if Jeff is okay, if he's there, all that good stuff. We see the creek and nothing. We go back to the red tent as Francis is looking for his, I guess, boyfriend. Shows up. There is Francis laying on the ground with CGI blood on top of that. It's not even real blood. It's not even fake blood or any kind of real liquid. It is CGI blood. And all Francis can say is, "What, you couldn't wait for me? Motherfucker, he's dead!" Then we see the Cougar. Francis starts screaming, and we cut back to we cut away and then cut back to the CGI Cougar tearing out Francis's throat with the fake CGI blood again. Like, what is the budget of this movie? $30 that you couldn't afford blood? So we cut back to the couple again, who are now sitting on the beach eating French fries. Which anybody who's ever been to the beach will tell you how bad of an idea that is because of the, seagulls. They're taking selfies together. They're doing date stuff. We cut back to the news because there's a new development in the Cougar case. What did we learn, Cleve? Well, the escaped Cougar came from Ferguson Labs, and that lab recently fell under investigation for its involvement of experiments on animals with cocaine. Very concerning. 4 p.m. now. We get a wide shot of the mountains. And now we cut to a model who was, I guess, a woman who was modeling a shirt, and it's just music playing, her doing, sexy dances, trying to be sexy, doing poses and everything. And again, that lasts like another 2 or 3 minutes before we cut outside to somebody else. They're calling Slater. He wants the GPS location, his GPS location sent to his phone. I don't know who this is. I don't know, or anything like that. Just nothing. We finally get back to the couple, and they're finally talking. They kiss goodbye because the date's over. She walks one way, he walks the other because, he's not going to walk her to her freaking house. But we see her walking down the path. And again, it's just her walking through the woods. Nothing else. She is just walking through the woods. And this lasts for about another 2 or 3 minutes. We finally get the red tint as she starts trying to cross some logs. Again, she's still walking, guys. 5 minutes later, she's still walking. The red tint appears again, and finally the Cougar runs her down and kills her. We cut back to the news guys who are telling us that animal control is on high alert and asking if you spot the Cougar in your area, do not approach him. Well, that should be common fucking sense. And instead to call 911. It is now 6 p.m. We get, again, some more bad CGI of the Cougar walking down the road. We cut to this guy taking trash out. And he's acting like, he's just carried about 50 pounds of trash down. He looks to his left, and he sees the cougar walking away from him, even though it's technically the cougar's walking down a main road. But he apparently sees the cougar, freaks out, runs inside, and tells his wife that he just saw a cougar. And she's like, a cougar? He's like, yes, I just saw a cougar. And there's a cougar. Basically tells her, yes, there is a cougar outside. The wife basically goes, oh, what, a cougar like Mrs. Lynch down the hallway? And is that who you're talking about? The husband's like, no, it's a real cougar. It's an actual cat. Like the real life cougar. And the wife's just like, oh, yeah, she's a real cougar. She's an older lady who hits on younger men. And you need to stop fucking talking to her. How many times do we talk about this? And he's like, no, honestly, I'm serious. She gets pissed off and walks away, leaving him to sit there and go, no, I really saw a fucking cougar. So the guy who was calling somebody and asking to put their GPS on his phone, doesn't matter who the fuck it is, because now we see him texting somebody. We see the red tint, and the guy literally goes, hey, it looks like a cocaine bear. Fuck no, that's a fucking cocaine cougar. And he goes running, but of course can't get away because, a cougar is fast. We get some more CGI blood because, again, we're not going to spend the $3 that it would cost for for blood for the movie. Nope, we're really just going to keep doing the CGI shit. Back inside, the husband is now calling 911 to report the cougar that it's large and black and it's got paws and it growls. I guess the 911 operator thinks it's an old woman too, and he goes, no, look, it's not sexy or flirtatious. Could you please send somebody to our address? He finishes up, and we cut back to the model. She's thanking the guy was taking the pictures and thanks him for the shirt. Walks out to her truck, and we see the red tint, and she is immediately killed by the cocaine cougar. We now cut to an older woman walking down the street in a very short skirt and some pretty sexy pantyhose. The wife comes out and confronts her. Mrs. Flynn, I am Bob's wife. And Mrs. Flynn goes, oh, the one who won't wear short dresses. And basically the wife confronts her, listen, bitch, stop fucking talking to my husband, okay? And the old woman goes, well, I'm not really interested in him. He's too old. And they basically have a back and forth about her talking to him and all that stuff. And just as it looks like they're about to come to blows, they hear the cougar, and apparently the cougar kills both of them. The husband's outside running. Why, I don't know, but he basically hears his wife and the woman get killed. Bob is breathing heavily. And Bob is smart because he just gets the fuck out of there, but the cougar runs him down anyways. And now it's 8 p.m. We get a wide shot of the city. And just random B-roll footage of Los Angeles. Now we get a guy just walking. I guess he bought something. He's just walking around, texting someone. You hear the cougar snarling again. Red tint. The cougar goes running at him. And once again, just jumps and tears this random person's throat out. Like, we cut to another person who is walking on a bridge at night, telling you, yeah, I heard something about, that on the news. Yeah, I'll let you know when I get there. And he's just having his chat. gets into his car, pulls off. We see the red tint start chasing the car. And apparently, because the Cougar is on cocaine, it can keep up with the car. So, yep, the Cougar runs the car down, makes it crash, or the car crashes, the Cougar snarls, and goes after the body. It is now 10 p.m. We're back in the office, and Ramses is doing his own line of cocaine, and he says, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you. We then cut to Shredder, who is also doing a line of cocaine, or washing his face because he doesn't have any cocaine. He's washing his face, looks into the mirror and says, I'm going to find this fucking cougar and I'm going to kill it. No one fucks with Shredder's stash. We hear a car honk. Ominous music. Roll the fucking credits. That's the fucking movie. That's it. The credits start playing at 41 minutes. This is a 50-minute runtime. The credits start playing at 50 minutes. The movie itself, after the beginning of the credits, started at right about 6 minutes. Guys, this is a 35-minute movie. This is a 35-minute movie total, not counting the 5 or 6 minute montage in the theme park, in the amusement park. What the hell are we doing here? Like, did we just make a movie for the sole purpose of making where's the plot? Where's anything? Like, this just doesn't, yeah. The movie is over. This is now officially the shortest movie. Well, I guess not, because we had those Halloween shorts at Halloween, but I was going to say it's the shortest full-length movie in Bloody Binge history. We've already talked about the cast. Written and directed by Dustin Ferguson. On IMDb, it's got 1.5. Out of 352 reviews, 1.5 is the rating. Like, let's see some trivia. Pardon me. Oh, God damn it, go away. Guess what? There's no trivia. Oh, I'm sorry. Body count, 13. There's no information on this movie whatsoever. There's no budget. There's no release. It was released on April 15th, 2023. So I guess it's coming up on its 2-year anniversary. Filming locations was Panorama City, California. Put out by SCS Entertainment. It says the runtime is 50 minutes. No, it fucking isn't. Like, it's not a 50-minute. It is 35 minutes at best. 30 minutes if you don't sit through the 6-minute amusement park scene. So with that said, let's move on to the review. This was shit. It's a shit movie. It is awful. The only, there's no plot. The characters are introduced and then 5 seconds later killed. It's clear that this movie is part of that, that growing trend when Cocaine Bear came out to add drugs and add a random fucking animal to it. Because they did Cocaine Shark, they did Meth Gator, and so many others. They're like Tubi is ranked with them, and I probably should have picked a different one because goddamn, this is going to be one of the shortest episodes of the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast because this movie's over. 30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes. But it's just not a good. Don't watch it. Just. And my suggestion is don't watch it. It's nothing. It's nothing. There's just better movies out there. The only question I have to ask myself is this movie worse than Amityville Thanksgiving? And I have to say, honestly, yeah, yes. This movie is probably worse than Amityville Thanksgiving. And everybody knows I hated Amityville. Nothing happened in Amityville Thanksgiving. Nothing happens in this movie. Like, at least spend the $5 tops to get fake blood. Why are we using CGI blood? Like, it doesn't make sense. Unless you're literally, it probably took 20 minutes to make. It probably took longer to make. It probably took shorter to make this movie than the runtime. In all honesty, then that doesn't make sense. But this movie, no, this movie's it's terrible. Like Amityville, and it's not going to be it's not going to be much worse than Amityville because Amityville Thanksgiving is terrible. It's awful, but this movie has less happening in it than Amityville Thanksgiving, and it's presented as a full-length movie. There's nothing full-length about this movie. This is a short. So I'm going to have to give it 1 star. 1, not even half, 1.5, 1. Because there's nothing happens. Nothing. I don't, there's no plot. Except there's a cougar running around killing people. So that's it, 1 star. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the week for us. Because the movie's over. There's nothing else. Like, I'm, kind of thankful that Jen did, or Fridays did skip this week because this movie was awful. So where can you find me? You can find me everywhere at the Bloody Binge Movie Show. It is now the Bloody Binge Movie Show, not the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. It is the Bloody Binge Movie Show because, and I've actually noticed that somebody's told me before that if you put podcast in the title of your show, of your podcast, it actually affects your viewership and your reach on YouTube and that. So it is now the Bloody Binge Movie Show. But you can find me at the Bloody Binge Movie Show on Facebook, in the groups, on X, and on YouTube. If you're interested in seeing the backlog of any of the past episodes of the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast, if you want to go back to see just how bad Amityville Thanksgiving was, feel free to go back, go to YouTube, and go back and listen. Or you can look us up on Spotify and iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, where you will be able to find the audio-only versions of the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. You can also check me out next weekend, at least next Friday, at the Bloody Binge. Next week at Hell's Dungeon in Dayton, Ohio. We will be open for 420. Come meet the Gravedigger. Come meet Bugs Bunny and Reefer Rabbit. And we will see you from 8 to 12 that night. Not only that, next week, again, a reminder, we will be coming to you Thursday night next week, not Friday, but Thursday night at 9 p.m. At some point next week, we will be doing a Hardcore Heels episode. I haven't decided when yet, so that we can put our WrestleMania predictions out there. But coming up on the show next Thursday, we have No Holds Barred for WrestleMania weekend. The weekend after that, the Friday after that, on the 25th, it is our 420 episode, our belated 420 episode. We are going to watch Evil Bong from Full Moon Pictures. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Evil Bong. From there, we move into May. We're in May, on May 2nd. You know what? We'll do this first. After that, we are coming to May 1st and 2nd. It is a weekend or double shows of Halfway to Halloween. On Thursday, May 1st, we will be hosting an episode of Shivers. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry, I had a cough. We will be hosting Shivers, a special episode of Shivers, our Halfway to Halloween special. We are going to have haunters from across the country come on to the show and revel us with tales of their own paranormal experiences in their haunts while they were working or before. That is going to be on Thursday. If you are a haunter and you have a story, please email me at bloodybinge@gmail.com. If you're interested in coming on the show, or if you're too shy to come on the show, let me know. Email me the story, and I will gladly read your story online or on the air live. Then, May 2nd, for the Bloody Binge Movie Show, we are going to watch, again, Halfway to Halloween episode, Halfway to Halloween special. We are watching Jacko. That looks like a really good movie. It looks like a revenge movie from the 90s. From there, we go on to May 9th, where it's Mother's Day weekend. So we are going to celebrate Mother's Day by watching 1976 cult classic Big Bad Mama, starring Angie Dickinson and William Shatner. From there, we move on to the 16th of May, where we are watching Amityville Ripper, just because. And on the 23rd, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we are going to the beach, and we are watching Broken Lizard's Club Dread. If you like Super Troopers, if you like Beer Fest, you'll love this movie. But we are watching Broken Lizard's Club Dread, May 23rd. And finally, May 30th, the last day of school, we are going back to the 90s and watching the first sequel on this show, because this sequel doesn't tie into the original. But we are watching Rock and Roll High School Forever, starring Corey Feldman. All of this coming up on the Bloody Binge. June is coming up quickly. We're getting ready to pick some movies for June. Got a list started, just got to pick out which ones I want to do. But all of that is coming out with the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. Not to mention, Hardcore Heels will be making a return to the original format of watching some old wrestling videos, watching some old wrestling shows, and deep diving for you, just like we do here in the Bloody Binge, except it'll be wrestling. We'll be talking some wrestling. We got haunted houses coming up. There's so much coming up on the shows. So guys, be good to each other. And remember to keep watching horror. Good night, everybody.